How you doing on this lovely day for this self-care check podcast? And the theme of this month of August is it's a lot. Today's hello everybody. How you doing on this lovely day? This is Self-Care Check podcast, and I, your host Ezequiel Aka EZ, would like to talk to you today about self-reflection and the inner child. Before we get into that, let me ask you a question. Do you care about your self-care?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And being that we care about our self-care and we care about others having that same care for themselves, we're talking about the self-reflection of the inner child. And I wanted to say it again for a second time because it holds a lot of value. Holding on to that, the sentiment value of that inner child, that development of your understanding, that development of fun and charisma that you share with those that are around you in a loving sense. And for today's theme, for this month's theme for August, is Black Business Month. In Black Business Month, we honor Black-owned businesses in the United States, first celebrated in 2004. There are 2.6 million Black-owned businesses in America. That's a lot, and it's growing. This month hopes to push for equality in the business space and celebrate those who own businesses despite their daily challenges. And another awareness for August is Intersectional Awareness Month. Intersectional is the idea that one person identifies with two or more marginalized groups, including gender, identity, race. It's important that we try to understand and express that all people have with their identity a diverse and inclusive workplace and world means that we uplift disadvantaged associated groups. By spreading awareness, we are promoting positive change. And last but not least, National Civility Month. This month focuses on treating others the way we want to treat others, with respect, kindness. This should be something that celebrates every month. But in August, it means we focus on it, not just with ourselves, but with others. So with those three things in mind, it brought me to understand the three into mind of the three factors of an inner person, and that is your self-reflection, how you see yourself within your business, how you see yourself within your groups and the people that you are around. And as far as for national civility, the treatment that we give others within our business and outside our business. So I'm gonna ask the first question to the audience for the inner child on that. Did you know that as a child, we claim our future with truth in our hearts of who we are as adults? We claim I'm gonna re-ask that. Did you know that as children, we claim our futures with the truth in our hearts of who we are? And as adults, we claim it with decisions and experience to make a life living. What is the resolve today in that? I'll break it down. I'll break it down. Let me say, like, as a child, for me, I remember as a child, I said that I wanted to be a veterinarian. Although I didn't say it exactly. I said I wanted to be an animal doctor. And in my heart, I knew true that I'm a person that cared for others, which is why I also cared for animals. That's what my mother said to me. She said that a person that cares for the welfare of other beings other than just yourself is a person of an immense amount of love and care and joy, and that they have a lot of it to give, and as well as a lot of room to receive. So I had to learn how to take that understanding and apply it not just towards animals, but people and myself. And even though I didn't become that, I became something completely different out of my decisions and the experiences that I gained from those decisions in my life. I ended up being here on the camera talking to you on a podcast versus being a veterinarian. And my resolve in that is I'm proud to be where I'm at. based off of those decisions and those experiences? And that is what I'm asking in the first question.
So I think that, if I'm not mistaken, you're asking about our inner child and how we are proud to be doing what we're doing,
Today, yes.
right? So in my inner child, I wanted to be an Army nurse and a teacher. And I wasn't an Army nurse, but I was a nurse and a teacher. And I'm not doing that now per se, but yet I am still caring for people. I believe that what's inside of us comes out, even if it comes out in a different way or we use it in a different arena. It still comes out because it's inside of us. We're gifted to do it. So I'm still doing what I desire to do, but in a different way, caring for people.
Thank you. Yes.
Child, I wanted to become a boxer. Sugar Ray Leonard and Muhammad Ali was my favorite boxers. So as I matured, got older, I learned the fundamentals of boxing. So today, I train kids. I teach kids the fundamentals to boxing, as well as I taught my son, my nephews, all my nephews, the whole clan. So that was my gift that I had as an inner child, cause I had hurt myself boxing. So I couldn't pursue my career, however, so I try to give back to the young generation today.
And that's your resolve. Is there another person? Okay. As you heard from my two contestants that spoke, they still are on the same path of what it is that they had an understanding of with who they are, and still do even more now. Our positions just change in life. The name of the game is still the same. It's just things change. Things change for the better. Things change as long as you are willing to change with it, and not necessary for your own desires of it. Because to give yourself earnestly to the truth brings out even more truth within the resolve in itself. Which brings us to a second question. If you could have become what you said as a child, describe yourself as that person today, and where would you be?
Well, since I went before, I'll piggyback now and say,
It's
as
not
an
cool.
Army nurse is concerned, I would be in the Army, retiring from the Army and helping soldiers heal, helping veterans, and traveling the world. I think that part I'm doing in a different way again, traveling the world, helping people, ministering to people. And that, I believe, that's the plan God had. So that's how it's being fulfilled.
Dr. Moody.
As an inner child for me, when I was a kid, I love to do hair, so I was a hairstylist.
I need my hair done.
And I realized that, as I remember a gentleman on the YouTube, he said he prayed for certain things and he get to look after people. He prayed for that and he used to do different things. As a child, I'm a hairstylist, I'm a little bossy little thing in myself. But different from that, when by growth I see where I would put myself in the hospital, where I always helping people. I would put myself in the hospital. I know I would be good in that field, in the hospital, busy helping people who are sick. So my inner child, no matter what I go, I have to be around people to help, to listen. I can't hide myself from it. Because not that I tried, but anywhere I hit is people. That's me.
Would there be another?
Where I will be today, well, not today because, you know, you got to retire in the boxing game at the age of 35, 36. However, I perfected my craft when I was younger. So, you know, as you know, if I wouldn't have got injured, you know, I had tore some ligaments in my shoulder. And if that wouldn't have happened, I would have been a great fighter.
You go ahead.
You are a great fighter. You don't mind me asking what
Claim it.
That's
okay. You remember the last time that ring, what was your stats?
Say that again?
What was your stats since the last time you was in the ring?
What was my stats?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, I had a few amateur fights. I mean, like about 7, 8, lost one draw.
Okay.
You know, yeah, I came up boxing when I was 12 years old. So I had a lot of ambition, and like I said, you know, I used to want to be like Muhammad Ali. So I had to, you know, study tapes and, you know, learn the tricks and trades and the fundamentals of the whole boxing game, you know. So yeah, I perfected that well.
Thank you. You gotta watch out for that left though.
Hey, this thing out here said movie recording has been stopped during the match.
Yes.
And the topics that we're talking about are?
The topics we're talking about today is don't be bullied or
So
a victim
that's our
of
champ
road
in
rage.
the room and
Yes, road rage and
vet.
bullying. Now, these two topics
We
was
have
brought up
stories
because
even
they're
though few, but they're beautiful.
acknowledgement of what goes on
They
during
didn't just make
every
this
month,
up.
but they're acknowledging it during this
They
time of
guide
August. So I'm going to read some of
They shape
what
and
was
mold
given to us about these
who they
two
are.
topics. As far as for
And they do that exact
bullying,
same thing for others.
a lot can be said about it.
Yes.
I'm late for my job. It's my fault. I'm gonna take. I'm not gonna be loud. I'm not gonna be aggressive. The person is taking his time. I am the one who are late. We have a problem with that as a self.
Yes.
That's the reason why we become
Yes.
who we are.
Absolutely.
And we become occasional praying people because we
Not responding, but listening and paying attention to know how to respond with authorities or if the response is even worth
I'm
giving.
doing my best, world. I'm doing my best.
What would you say on that?
Well, I would say on that,
I gotta
you
say,
see,
even as a child, I
bullying
was
is a very sore subject, I feel. You can be bullied in a lot of different situations over the
at
internet.
9. At 9, they're supposed to reach 10 and then leave the house at 9:45.
Yeah.
Telling the world, get out of my way. I'm late.
That's it.
Get
That's it.
bro. Then they're gonna piss and you wanna beat everybody on the street. Don't you?
with the child in mind. What is the greatest lesson you've learned about yourself as an adult? As we know, I gotta work on humble.
Oh, you asking me?
Everyone.
Oh,
What is the great? With the inner child in mind, what is the greatest? What is a great lesson you learned about yourself as an adult?
So I'll take this one. One of the greatest lessons I've learned is from my inner child is to not take myself so seriously. I have a real good sense of humor, and as you all know here, I can be serious when I need to, especially when somebody's rearranging my furniture. It took me a minute to I sit here filming. I was filming. I just got through that episode.
I put them in another.
But yes, I don't take myself so seriously. Life is too short. Life goes on. And I've learned that my inner child was always a joyous child. And my inner child started being robbed when I was maybe 7. I came downstairs, and it's so funny, I just had this vision again last night. I came downstairs at age 7. In our living room, it was a pool of blood. And came to find out that was my mom's blood when my dad beat her and sent her to the hospital. And ever since then, it started robbing me of joy because it just saddened me and then just after that, just different episodes. All my older brothers and sisters getting involved with drugs, and it was just seemed like my childhood was traumatic. But somewhere in there, I always just had that sense of humor where at the end of the day, I would just find something to laugh at.
Yeah.
And I knew it was escapism. I knew it was a lot of denial because I didn't want to face the realities. And as I got older, I created my own reality. And I'm just saying I'm pleased with the life that God has allowed me to have after having such a traumatic childhood. But my takeaway from all of that is still, Willie Moody, don't take yourself so serious because life will go on. Thank you.
Wow, Doc. Wow. With being the youngest in my family, I experienced so many traumas with my sisters and brothers dying, me being with them, my mother dying, me being with her. And I was always being that care provider. And the part of me that I missed that inner child is I was a comedian. I used to literally stand up and do real life comedy with my family, with friends.
Oh, that's where Zion gets from.
And I feel like that part has been a little robbed with dealing with life situations. And I want that part to come back because I was a sweet, precious little child. Happy, helping everybody. And now it seems like I try to hide it. And I want her to come back.
Come back.
I miss her.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel I was robbed from my adolescence when I was a kid because I got introduced to the streets at 17 years old. I got introduced to heroin and the drug game at 17. So from that day forward, I had left my mother's house and I chose the streets. And that's how I learned that's how I evolved in the streets. I learned from point A to point Z. So today, it's just that, like, now I think back and say to myself, I had deserved better, but I was robbed of my adolescence when I was young.
When I was a child, I would say, growing up as a child, and grown and look back, flashback in your past and look at when you were a toddler, I see where I didn't get robbed. I was living in a matrimonial home. I get tough love to make it, but if you touch me, I talk. I was a talker. As you say, hey, I run to my parents, and they would say, they used to call me Big Eye. Your eyes so big, you chop them up. Big Eye. Yes, Big Eye. When they say that, I just died.
Big Eye.
Big Eye. If you say so that little girl in me, now I could look at that little girl and say, girl, you go strong.
Yeah.
They say you used to chat, but you hold your soul in it. Nobody tell you anything, you hold it and you don't leak it and you're tight. So when I can compare back, then I know, girl, you're going on, and it's a good thing. That little girl
You know what I would say about what I've learned about it?
The enemy as a child to me now as an adult is to be more transparent, open, and honest, even more honest with myself. Because sometimes I know, even somewhat now, not as much as I used to, but I want to even just cut it completely off. Sometimes I do lie to myself.
About what?
Sometimes it could be just the simplest thing as far as and that's the thing that I asked myself the last time I did it. It just sometimes it'll be the desire to want to lie to myself. I'm like, nah, you don't need to do that, or nah, you did enough. That was good, or like those things when I was a child, like those things used to trouble me a lot. Not so much now, because I know more of who I am. That's why I do more of what I do now, because it's more coming out. So, with that being said, the me that I know now, I just have to be more transparent and consistent. That's what I learned. And with that consistency, I'm not gonna give up. Coming up with content and pronunciating my words better, and continuing to be the best me that I know that I can be. Because I care about my self-care. So do you care about your self-care? Yeah! All right. Yeah.